The young waiter brought over 2 bowls of noodles, but the female customer looked disgusted. She warned her son that if he didn't study hard, he'd end up doing hard labor like the waiter. Just as she finished speaking, the news reported that the young man had earned a perfect score on the college entrance exam, becoming the national top scorer. The woman was instantly slapped in the face by reality. While everyone was still stunned, 2 principals suddenly entered the restaurant. One was a representative from MIT, the other was an admissions officer from Peking University. But the young man didn't hesitate. He chose to stay in China. The foreign representative was shocked, offering world-class resources and connections, and couldn't help but ask why he refused to study abroad. The young man's gaze was firm, saying he studied to revitalize his country. He held his acceptance letter tightly, his heart filled with excitement. Just then, a phone call came in. The teacher's daughter tearfully told him his teacher had been diagnosed with ALS, and there was currently no cure. Looking at his teacher lying in the hospital bed, the young man was overwhelmed with grief. He remembered how the teacher had adopted him as a child, taught him to read and to be a good person, and treated him like a son. Right then, he decided to give up his education, to work and earn money for the teacher's treatment. But when the news broke, the teacher was so angry he vomited blood. He scolded the young man for wasting all those years of hard work, and told him not to throw away his future. The young man's eyes turned red as he explained. His family couldn't afford the tuition, and he couldn't bear to take away the girl's only chance to study. But the kind girl gave up her own opportunity, saying she'd wait for him to return one day. The young man swore to succeed, and repay his teacher's kindness. 6 years passed in a flash. The young man seemed to have vanished, but the teacher's illness worsened by the day. He still thought about his student constantly. What he didn't know was that the young man had been quietly researching all these years, and had finally developed a treatment for ALS. The country awarded him $1 billion in prize money. Now the young man had both wealth and honor, and with the confidentiality agreement expired, he was finally free to return home and repay his teacher. Meanwhile, the girl saw on the news that the miracle drug had been released. She burst into tears of joy, but when she heard that one pill cost $200,000, she fell into despair again. Years of treating her father had drained the family of everything. She couldn't even gather $2,000. Then she remembered. Today was the student appreciation banquet for her father. She hoped that in memory of the teacher-student bond, they might lend her money to save her father. Clinging to that last hope, she pushed her father toward the banquet. At the same time, the young man had returned home, but missed the teacher by mere seconds. When he arrived at the house and knocked, no one answered. A neighbor happened to pass by, and told him they had gone to the appreciation banquet. The young man rushed over immediately, but by the time the girl arrived with her father, they were met with scorn. The former students mocked her, asking why she brought a sick old man there. Swallowing her pride, the girl asked to borrow money to save a life, but was coldly rejected. Just then, a waiter announced that a $2 million deluxe meal was ready. The girl was stunned. She accused them of wasting money while refusing to save a life, but they sneered, saying the teacher had been too strict in the past, and now deserved his fate. The girl's heart turned cold. She insisted that the teacher was only ever good to them, but no one appreciated it. She could only curse that they would receive their retribution. Furious, a spoiled rich kid called for security to kick them out, but just as they were